Great. Ooh, sorry about that. I'd like to call to order. Yeah, they can bill me. Call the order the regular meeting of the Cordova Recreation Park District on this Wednesday, September 20th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you for the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. I'd like to welcome to the podium our golf course manager, Daryl Ficano.
Does this thing work? Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will have Daryl introduce our guest.
See if this works. Good evening, Chairperson Yearwood and members of the board. Tonight, I'd like to introduce to you Bronche Jones, who serves on the board of the Northern California Golf Association, NCGA. Bronche is from Sacramento and owns a lobbying firm downtown. As an NCGA board member, Bronche works to ensure golfers of all ages and abilities have the opportunity to experience the best of what the game of golf has to offer, including community events, specialized programming, USGA league play, and golf tournaments. This past spring, the NCGA REACH program, which looks to ensure the game of golf is vibrant, inclusive, and accessible, awarded a $25,000 grant to the Cordova Golf Course in partnership with United Cerebral Palsy of Sacramento, UCP, for our collaborative program, Life Without Limits Through Golf. This program offers UCP clients, both children and adults with developmental disabilities, the opportunity to learn how to golf from PGA professional instructors. The goal is to enrich these individual lives by teaching them new skills through golf instruction, making new friends, creating memories, and simply getting outside to play. The program has been a great success, and tonight we wish to thank Bronche and the NCGA for seeing our vision and generously donating funds to support this program. Thus far, funds have been used to assist families with program fees, towards purchase of new junior and adult golf clubs, new training equipment, and logo t-shirts for the participants. Again, I'd like to thank you, Bronche, and the NCGA for supporting CRPD, Cordova Golf Course, and UCP in actualizing our vision for this special program. Your generous contribution will continue to support our participants and program longevity. I would also like to thank Recreation Manager Leah Brown and Community Advocate Mark Laver of UCP. They're not here tonight for their vision and collaboration. As well, I'd also like to thank our incredible golf course staff, Cordova Golf Course, and golf course instructors Jack Rovain and Denise Foss, who stepped up in a new situation and made meaningful connections with the UCP staff and participants. Without all of you, none of this would be possible. Thank you all for making this program work well. Thank you.
At this time, we are going to take the board's going to take a photograph.
Or we're going to the lobby? Yes. We have our sign. Oh. To the lobby. At our next meeting, we'll have our beautiful winner.
All right.
Hey, thank you. Prior to moving on to item 2, I would like to request to pull item C1 from the agenda due to a lack of quorum. The request would be to approve the amended agenda, continue the item number C1 to October 18th.
All right. Would anybody care to make that motion? That suffice.
No, second.
All right, motion by Secretary Sloan, second by Director Mattis. Roll call vote.
Director Mattis,
Aye.
Director Langen,
Aye.
Secretary Sloan, Chair Yearwood,
Aye.
and thank you.
Excellent. All right, we'll move on to number 2 there, standing action item.
Yes, this is to handle any AB 2449 requests, and seeing none, we'll list it as no action taken.
Wonderful. All right, let's move on to roll call.
Thank you. We received advance notification that Vice Chair Danzel would be absent this evening. Director Mattis,
Aye. Or here.
Director Langen,
Here.
Secretary Sloan,
Here.
and Chair Yearwood.
Here. All right, B, comments by public on non-agenda items.
Thank you. This evening, I see that we have 2 members of the public on our Zoom call. Welcome this evening. Members of the public may address the board on district topics not listed on this agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. It's a violation of state law for the board to discuss or take action on non-agenda items. Board members may only briefly ask clarifying questions or refer the matter to staff. And at this time, I have no requests.
All right, thank you, Clerk Jones. All right, we will, I guess, move on to the consent calendar.
Thank you. Consent calendar items are considered administratively routine and will be acted upon in one motion unless separate action on a specific item is necessary. The chairperson will consider any requests for discussion on the items prior to approval of the consent calendar. And now we have 4 items for your consideration.
Thank you. Any public?
We have no requests.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments about items C2 through C5 from the board? Would anybody care to make the motion?
We approve the item C through C5 on the consent calendar.
It would be C2 through C5.
But we're not into, oh,
No.
well, C2 through C5.
All right, motion by Secretary Sloan.
Second.
Second by Director Langman. Roll call vote.
Director Mattis,
Aye.
Director Langen,
Aye.
Secretary Sloan,
Aye.
Chair Yearwood,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Danzel is absent.
All right, we will move on to D, presentations.
Thank you. Item D1 is a presentation of certificate to Doug Rothschild for over 6 years of service on the Park Maintenance and Recreation Improvement District PMRID Oversight Committee. And I'll turn it over to General Manager Larkin for the presentation.
Good evening. I'm not sure if Doug is joining us via Zoom. I think I see him there. Hi, Doug.
Good evening.
So I just wanted to give a little background on Doug. So Doug Rothschild was appointed by the CRPD Board of Directors to the PMRID Oversight Committee on January 18th, 2017. He represented Zone C, Gold River. When he joined the committee, he quickly got up to speed on the implementation of the voter-approved My Parks Enhancement Fund, the Measure J. He attended multiple community outreach meetings and a vital groundbreaking, virtual groundbreaking for the Cordova Community Pool Project. Doug was faithfully served in both his advisory and ceremonial roles. In 2018, he was elected vice chair of the Oversight Committee, and the CRPD board reappointed him to another term in 2019. Doug and his children are frequent park visitors. With a unique perspective as a local attorney, he has been a strong advocate for safety and improvement in Gold River's 3 parks. During his tenure, the following investments were made: Gold Station Park concrete walkway replacement project in 2021-22, park slide replacement in 2023, Gold River Park playground repairs, Prospect Hill Park basketball court and walkway repairs in 2023, and playground repairs at Prospect Hill Park. We want to thank Doug for his years of service, advocacy, and dedication to our community. And Doug, I have a little certificate here for you that we'll make sure to get out to you. And I'll be calling you to join you for some coffee sometime so I can give this to you. So
Wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you.
Wanted to say a few words, but we really appreciate all of your service to the district.
It was my pleasure to serve. I enjoyed it tremendously. I met wonderful people who I hadn't known before and learned many things. And it was just a tremendous honor and privilege. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Doug. I'll be in touch.
Yes, thank you, Doug. All right. We will move on. Well, there's no committee reports, so we'll move on from that. There's no public hearings, so we will move on for that. I guess we're to G, regular calendar.
Thank you. Item G1 is to adopt resolution 23/24-16, approving the park development agreement with Shalico Investors, a California limited partnership for the Shalico development project, and authorize the chairperson of the board of directors to sign the same. And I'd like to welcome planning manager Laura Taylor.
Chair Yearwood and members of the board. Tonight, staff recommends that the board approve the park development agreement, also known as a PDA, with Shalico by adopting the resolution and authorizing the chairperson to sign it. I would like to take the moment to introduce both Larry Gilzine, who is one of the owners of the Shalico project, and Deanne Green, who I believe is one of the potential future owners of the Shalico project. And they're here to support this item. And if there's any questions that I'm not able to answer, perhaps Larry might have the answer. But okay, so Shalico is located obviously within the CRPD boundaries, but it's also within the city of Rancho Cordova boundaries, and in an area of Rancho Cordova known as the Sun Creek Specific Plan area. Shalico is specifically located at the southeast corner of the intersection of Sunrise Boulevard and Kiefer Boulevard. There's a vicinity map on page 136 of your packet that shows this location. Shalico is approximately 315 acres and will provide approximately 931 single-family homes and 237 multifamily units, an elementary school site, and 2 neighborhood parks. Shalico is part of the Sun Creek Specific Plan Quimby Park in lieu fee program that was approved by our board of directors at the September 21st, 2022 meeting. Staff worked very closely with Larry Gilzine, as well as several of the other large landowners in the Sun Creek Specific Plan area in order to develop those documents and bring them to the board for your consideration. Larry Gilzine, as well as several of those landowners, were at that September 21st board meeting in support of that item. Shalico will dedicate 2 4.1 acre parcels for neighborhood parks, and the remaining Quimby parkland requirement that they have of 7.36 acres will be paid as Quimby in lieu fees in compliance with the Sun Creek in lieu fee program. CRPD will then hold those Quimby in lieu fees in an account that will eventually be paid out later to the Sun Creek landowner that is over dedicating more than their share of parkland. And so that's how they will be compensated for that over dedication. The PDA establishes the terms by which the developer shall make improvements to the land that will be dedicated for parks and pay park development impact fees. The PDA allows the developer to choose the option to construct the neighborhood parks and turn them over to CRPD. That's known as a turnkey process. If the developer chooses the turnkey option, then they will be given a credit on their park impact fees to fund their construction of the neighborhood parks. If they do not choose the turnkey option, then they will pay the full park impact fee, and CRPD will manage the design and construction of the neighborhood parks. The PDA also specifies the timing for the developer to complete the park sites, which are then presented to the CRPD board for CRPD's formal acceptance and ownership of those parcels. The timing for the start of their construction is based on the number of building permits being pulled in that development and not calendar dates. And this is a common practice because it allows for unpredictable variances in the housing market. Next step with the city is the developer will be approved. The developer will be seeking approval of a large lot final map for Shallico. And before the large lot final map can be recorded at the county, the PDA, as well as annexing into one of CRPD's community facilities districts, also known as a CFD. Those two items are required before they can record their large lot final map. And so that those two items are required through two mechanisms. One of them is the development agreement that they have with the city. And the other item is through the conditions of approval that the city has placed on the approval of the Shallico project. The developer is eager to complete full execution of the PDA. It will ensure a quick and efficient approval of their large lot final map. Once the large lot final map is approved by the city council, the large lot final map will then be recorded at the county recorder's office. And he has to do that before he is allowed to sell parcels outside of that one large development parcel. So per the PDA, the developer is required to pay the current 2023 Park Impact Development Fee in the city of $12,070.11 per single family home and $9,507.43 per multifamily unit. If the developer chooses to turnkey the neighborhood parks, then a credit on the park impact fee will be allowed, and that credit is shown in Exhibit 4 of the PDA. Inflation adjustments to the park impact fee, also to their credits, and to the park construction budget is made every January. The developer is current on CRPD's cost recovery invoices for both the development review and plan check applications that they've submitted to us. The park impact fee will be collected by the city on behalf of the district. The developer is also required, as I mentioned, to annex into a CFD, and that will ensure adequate funding for ongoing maintenance and facility replacement in the parks related to this development. The request for the annexation will come forward to the board in October. Approval of the recommended action will allow the execution and recordation of the PDA, which will allow the developer to continue moving forward on development of their residential project. So that concludes my presentation. And if there's any questions that you have, I would be happy to answer.
I thank you. Any public comments on this item?
We have no requests.
All right. I will start at the end of the revenue guidance with Director Mattis.
Yeah, so on this property here, this plan, where are those power lines, those massive lines, are those on the edge of this property or do they go through, or is that what that middle? Isn't there on that side of Kiefer Boulevard, aren't those massive transmission lines?
Right. Those do not go through the Shallico project, right?
And then the other thing I have too is just for developers, the city of Rancho Cordova building out here, I would really love to see more pressure on the school district to build their schools, because I used to live in Cavala Ranch, lived in Anatolia, and that's the main reason why I moved out of there, was because of the no choice of schools. And I love seeing the development, seeing the growth, the parks. I just wish the school district would follow suit with to fulfill those needs that these people are paying. Yeah, it's Elk Grove School District.
All right. Director Lane? No. Secretary Sloan, any questions?
So the green's on, so I can talk. So all these little green things are neighborhood parks, correct?
There's only two neighborhood
Oh,
parks.
which ones are we looking at? Which ones are, I'm looking at the Douglas, Sunrise and. Oh, it's down there.
Go to page 143. Go to 143.
Yeah. But there's no column. Those two, the retention things, is that for, there's a.
Let's see, what page of the,
Detention something,
143.
140?
there's a big kind of, looks like golf courses with sand trap, but I'm not sure what they act, it's a detention for water runoff or.
Oh, right. Yeah, those are detention areas on both sides of the wetland, in the middle of the bottom.
And these parks about, you said, 2-acre parks?
They're 4.1
Or
acres.
is it, these are pretty good sized, detention thing, and that's gonna be totally, is that like a wetlands kind of thing where there's always gonna be like water in them and?
That's those are controlled and managed by the city of Rancho Cordova. So I'm not really in a position to answer a lot of questions about those specifically, but typically, well, the city does require them to be landscaped, and they typically have a perimeter path around them.
With a fence, kind of like we have out at Heron Landing. Oh, well, no, there's no 3-foot fence separating it. So it's not an area where a child could get into and get hurt.
It's not our park. It's not our property. That's really a question for the city.
I know, but our park is right next to it.
It's separated by a road.
Oh, good. That helps.
Mhm.
That's good. Okay. That's all.
Okay.
Next.
I don't have any questions. It was a very nice presentation, and what was in the board packet was very well put together. Thank you. All right. So if there's no further discussion, would anybody care to make the motion on this item? Hey, I'll do it.
I move that the board of directors approve the proposed listing of the sorry. Oh, yeah. I'm reading G1
On
here.
page 114.
Oh, okay. I move that we adopt resolution 23/24/16, approving the park development agreement with Shalico Investors in the California Limited Partnership for the Shalico Development Project, and authorize the chair of the board of directors to sign the same.
Motion by Director Mattis. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Secretary Sloan. Roll call vote.
Director Mattis,
Aye.
Director Langen,
Aye.
Secretary Sloan, Chair Yearwood,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Danzel is absent.
All right. Looks like we're moving on to item G2.
Thank you. Item G2 is to approve the proposed list of nominated individuals for naming a CRPD park facility or amenity. And I'd like to welcome to the podium Planning Technician Andrew Saltmarsh.
Hi there. Good evening, Chair Yearwood and members of the board. I gave a presentation to the board of directors at the October 19th, 2022 board meeting on the procedures for naming parks and facilities after and amenities after a person. To begin with this process, CRPD invited members of the community to submit applications for consideration of having a park facility or park facility or an amenity named after a person. The application period was advertised in the Grapevine Independent and through CRPD social media announcements. The deadline for submitting the application to CRPD was April 12th, 2023. Applications were screened and vetted by CRPD staff for those meeting the criteria before the Park and Facility Naming Ad Hoc Committee met to review the nominations. The ad hoc committee met twice, on June 15th and July 31st of 2023 to review the applications. Due to the existence of a potential conflict of interest, Vice Chairperson Danzel recused himself from the meeting during the review of one specific application. The ad hoc committee reached a consensus on the proposed list of names presented here in alphabetical order by last name. The names include Guy Anderson, John Barris, Linda Budge, Brian Danzel, Franklin Lowry, Inez Reyes, and Charlie Rice. The ad hoc committee is recommending the board of directors vote to approve the proposed list of names. The proposed list of names, if approved by the board, is intended to be in place for the next 2 years. If approved, the list of names will be considered when naming a park facility or an amenity in conjunction with other non-person naming recommendations made by CRPD staff and the developers. Procedures dictate that another invitation to the community will be issued near the end of 2025 for consideration of adding more names to this list. And thank you, and I'm available for any questions if you have them.
Thank you, sir. Any questions on this topic from the public?
We have no requests.
All right. All right. Well, we'll start down at the end of the dais. Any questions, Director Mattis?
No, so this is basically for naming a park, naming a facility or amenity. Those are the three options, right?
Yes, correct. After a person.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm more for a facility or amenity, because I do like how we're setting up our parks, like Hummingbird Park. It's themed after birds, after the hummingbird. There's the one out there about for the Aerojet for the space race. So there's gonna be a space theme. I do like that type of naming for a park. The Gold Rush Park. There's a type of Gold Rush theme to it. That's what I like for that kind of stuff.
All right. Director Langen?
So are these names on the list for the foreseeable future, or is it every 2 years? It kind of can switch on, it switches out.
They are on the list for the next 2 years, and there will be another invitation to the public for request for more names. So I believe this list is evolving every 2 years. It will be added to it.
So the policy would dictate if there is at any time a conflict with anyone that is, someone gets arrested or whatever, crazy thing happens, that we would consider that in the application period and before any official naming would occur.
Yeah, that's in policy section 1.28 of park planning policies. You all good?
Does the policy stipulate whether it would be a neighborhood park or a community park?
It does not. It's just whenever a park is being named, this list is considered in conjunction with other recommendations from CRPD staff and developers.
And so I mean, I looked at the list, and there's some great names on this list. People that have been in the community out there working hard to make these happen. I do like the theme. When you do a theme park, you've got this theme that carries through to the play area, and so I'm more on board that it would be like the Linda Budge Butterfly Garden in Heron Landing Park, if you want that, and that kind of a thing. And it's going to be tough to name a park after people that are still paying their dues and going out there working hard. So I mean, I think the list is building up, and I like it. And some of these people might be more geared towards being on a school facility. I mean, I know Barris was very instrumental at Cordova High School and very well liked. And so maybe the school might name the track after him or something, which I think would be really cool. And he was a track coach. But I like the way we're moving in. I just want to be able to make sure that we name it after the people that have worked hard a long time, not just, oh, he's worked, he's been here for 5 years. Let's name the park after him. No. So I think there's lots of credit that needs to be going to this, into the selection committee. And I do. There's a name I should have added this. I should have had Kay Nickerson. I didn't even think about that. I should have added her name to this list. So thanks for doing this. I think it's something that we can look forward to in the future and see where it takes us.
Sure, of course.
Well, I was on the ad hoc committee, so I don't really have any questions. I would just say that we may never name anything after any of these people. It's just simply an option that we have at our disposal when something comes up. So
Do we allow corporate sponsorship?
What?
We would, yeah. So there's a policy for that.
well, he answered that real quick, didn't he?
We would develop the naming rights funds.
Okay.
And absolutely.
Turn that
Other way if we have that.
All right. So if there's no other questions or comments, would anybody care to make a motion?
I move the board of directors approve the proposed list of nominated individuals for naming a CRPD park facility or amenity.
All right. Motion by Director Langen. Second. Second by Secretary Sloan. Roll call vote.
Director Mattis,
No.
Director Langen,
Aye.
Secretary Sloan. Chair Yearwood
Aye.
and Vice Chair Danzel is absent.
All right. Thank you. I guess we're now going to move on to H, Board of Director items. H1? None? All right. Sorry. H2. How about H2?
Thank you. Item H2A is the training report from the CSDA annual conference, and that's Chair Yearwood and Secretary Sloan.
All right. Secretary Sloan, you're up.
Go first, so you don't have to say anything.
Oh, trust me. I'll say different stuff.
Well, Chairman Yearwood and I both drove down to Monterey and attended the CSDA conference. And like always, it's a very kind of a classy event. A lot of people from, mosquito vector, cemetery district, fire districts, all different districts, special districts that we all come together, and you could be talking to someone thinking that you're talking about the same thing. You realize that they're a mosquito in your park and they're cemetery district, their parks. But they had some very interesting keynote speakers. The one I really liked a lot was on the second day. Some guy named Matthew Lunn. He was an animator, or maybe still is, an animator for Pixar. And he worked on the movie on Toy Story, and he worked on the movie Up. And if you watch Up, the first 10 minutes of Up, it deals with where you're building kind of like attention, happiness, bliss. Oh my God. And then all of a sudden it takes you down into sorrow and then back up again. So if you watch that movie, it's kind of interesting how, and he was saying that's how we should engage our community. The same type of enthusiasm and passion that some of the way people direct an animated movie for children. So I thought that was excellent. I think my other attendees would have said the same thing.
It was very good. Yes.
Yeah. And this year's conference, it seemed like they had a lot more stuff for geared towards directors, and what I thought was sort of nice. I know that a breakout session I went to was all talking about LAFCOs and how they're an additional resource for our district and how important they are for keeping us together and on our toes. Another one was public events to build community equity, which was an interesting one. And another one, this is the last one I'll talk about, is the embracing diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging as the cultural norm. That was a very interesting one. And if I can find my notes on that, I think I asked for PowerPoint to be emailed me or sent to me on that one. Otherwise, it was beautiful weather in Monterey, and for some reason they have 1 million seals right by the Marriott that were honking their horns all day and night out there right as you walk into the fisherman's wharf on the pier. Very interesting. And I heard that they were all males. So they separated in, and I heard the sharks were chasing them. And that was kind of Michael, add on.
Well, you said it all. You're right. Yes, it was a nice conference. I agree. It seemed like there was a lot of stuff geared towards board members. It was odd that there weren't a whole lot of park districts, maybe a handful. Yeah, not very many, but most of the breakout sessions I attended really amazingly surrounding the Brown Act. Almost every one of them. And if anybody has had a presentation done by an attorney, you excluded, one lady, bless her heart, I think it was the first time she'd been there, she read her presentation word for word. But there was, I got a lot of interesting information, some things I already knew, some things that enlightened me. It was interesting too, how all of these different people who were presenting interpreted things of the Brown Act a little bit differently. One was all, oh, you can go meet up with all your board members outside of it as long as it's not board related business. And the other was, oh, you should never do that. So they all have a varying opinion on what they think you should and shouldn't do. I was looking through my notes here. One that caught particular attention to me is, I don't remember who said it, but he said the gavel is the symbol of authority. So, and apparently I beat this table into submission when we first started. Sorry about that. It was good. I mean, there was a lot of information in there. Like I said, a lot of mine ended up just out of, I think, accident to be involving the Brown Act. So, but I did enjoy the Pixar speaker. He had a great story and he presented very well. I have to admit, I'm struggling to remember what the first guy did on the first day. I knew it had something surrounding love, and I really can't remember it, to be honest. Yeah. So, but it was very good. And if they don't get you that presentation you asked for, because I did the electronic one, all the presentations are in there. I can get it for you. So that is my report on that. It was really a nice event. And especially since they covered a lot of the Brown Act and things like that. So if it's something, hopefully you guys, maybe, I know you guys got other stuff you got to take care of this year, maybe next year or one of the years coming up, you can head out to that one.
Another thing is that they also have a showroom of vendors, people that are, different ways where for things that help in administrative helping or all sorts of things to help your district. And so that's always eye-opening too. And I think Patrick and Danielle would attest to that, because you can walk around and learn something. Hey, that might be really effective for our district. We should look into that kind of a thing. And it's just a nice, friendly atmosphere. Well, not as friendly as the CRPD company.
Yeah, but you guys didn't have hundreds of seals.
Some of those politicians are
Stop it. All right. So I think we're done. And we will move on to board member reports, H2. Oh, no, hold on. I'm out of it. Sorry. B, right? I'm down at the bottom at B. So shall I just continue? All right. Director Mattis, would you like to give your board report?
Yeah, Director Langdon and I attended the LAFCO Special District Advisory Committee on August 29th. There was some more water talk. So you missed the last one. So there was a lot of learning some more water talk, but they did bring up our MSR and they praised how we got it in there. And they're actually going to use it as a template for some other districts to kind of show how it's done. Because there was she was from, I think, North Highlands Park District. She had no idea what that was, no idea what was coming through. So she wanted to make sure that they were going to be on it, and she definitely requested a copy of it. So, and then on August 31st, attended the Rancho Cordova Chamber of Commerce elected officials reception. So that was good to meet some faces, say hi to some folks, and just kind of have a nice laid back event. It was really cool. And is that a neat little venue I never knew about? Kind of a flashback. I think it was originally themed for the 80s, but I think it went back to about the 60s with little shops. It was really cool.
All right, Church of Lincoln.
Yes, so August 29th, the Special Districts Advisory Committee meeting. Yes, it was my first one, and yes, I was blown away by the amount of water that we talked about. But also good and good stuff to know, and just stuff to know in general, and to learn about as a resident in the Sacramento area. And then it was just cool just to be able to meet all the different people, and just know, get to know some new people, talk to them, people that are brand new, people that have been on boards for a while. And so it was a great time just to be able to kind of learn more about the process. And then August 31st, the Rancho Cordova Chamber elected officials reception, just great to be there. See people I haven't seen in a while, also meet new people. And then being able to take a pretty cool picture with all of us here in a pretty retro area. And the cool thing is about that place is I live probably 2 miles from it, if that. And I never went in there, and there's probably a good part of that, because I might have bought some stuff. So then my wife's like, "What are you doing?" But anyways, and then the CRPD 65th anniversary gala. I was only able to be there for the first 45 minutes or so, but the time I was there, it was just really cool, awesome to see all of the people that were there. And just present, past people, and then actually as I was leaving, just to see the crowd of people that were coming in that were there for the open swim. And so just really awesome to see that facility being used like that, and just the amount of people that were there. And so yeah, just a great time.
Excellent, thank you, Secretary Sloan.
Want to break, because mine's a long list of things,
Get to it.
Let me do it in two parts. On August 22nd, I attended the BRCA Steering Committee meeting. We had a presentation there that night about a future development in our community, where BRCA is, right across from the light rail station. And a gentleman named Joe Phil Borgia, commissioner on the Sacramento County Planning Commission, talked about this development of 440 apartments. I guess you're going to call it something like Butterfield Station apartments. It's funny because that first development, when it was being proposed, and I guess something happened where it didn't kick off, they were going to be homes and apartments put in there and condos kind of thing, which would have required more parkland, dedicated parkland. And it seems this development here is sort of a way to put 440 apartments of different sizes into a gated area and not have a park in the middle of it. They have their own, they may have a pool or an area where that they can share, but still the impact of the neighborhood is going to be kind of drastic, I think. That was one thing. Also, we've got our BRCA picnic coming up. Is it on the 30th? The 1st. That's the Sunday, the 1st. Yeah. It's at 4:00, 4 to 6. Yeah. If you guys want to come by and have some cake and eat it too. Okay, and next thing on August, and then we have our mailbox, our little library thing is underway. I don't know if it's going to be ready for to be put in, but I know that they're working on it. August 23rd, I had a CRPD board meeting, and I want to tell you our conference for next year is going to be in Santa Rosa. It's going to be on May 22nd through the 25th, which is the Friday my son graduates from high school. So I will be leaving it. I will be attending, but I will be leaving early. And I highly recommend you guys get up there. It's not that far of a drive. At least it's close enough. I can leave at noon and be at Cordova High by 6 o'clock. Be home by early. Another thing that we discussed, and it's might be interesting because it's going to be on the ballot next in 2024, is the ACA 1. It was approved in the Senate, and this is for districts will be able to vote to approve a tax measure. And instead of having to have a 66% approval, if it gets approved by the voters, it will reduce it to a 55% approval rate, which might be easier for some districts to pass a measure and get some more tax dollars for their ailing facility. They're also going to look at starting a nonprofit foundation for the CRPD. Yep. On August 31st, I also attended the elected officials reception at Stardust Emporium. It's over there on Micron. I think it's Micron by the Capital Christian. And 24-Hour Fitness. I do highly recommend you guys check it out. It definitely takes you back in time. You know, you're all of a sudden you can be at the kitchen table you grew up at. You know, it's boom, it's there. It's well done. They also have a theater in there they rent out, and the 20-seat theater, so you can have a party there and all sorts of stuff. You guys didn't know that? Yeah. On September 8th, I attended the 65th anniversary party at Hagen Community Pool. No, Cordova Community Pool. And very well attended. It was kind of hot, but very well attended, very well done. You know, nice hors d'oeuvres, nice music. The pools were looking fantastic. The kids were swimming and having fun. It was open swim night during the whole thing. So, and it was just well attended. That's what I liked about it. It was very well attended by a lot of very important stakeholders in the community that support us. September 12th, I attended the Rancho Cordova Athletic Association, and it was getting too much for Shelley and her crew to do it all the time. So they actually hired someone to take over as the director of the RCAA. His name is Jason Harper. So you might be seeing his name pop up now and then. We talked about the needs of the community and what they've got. They got funding for about 50,000, but they need about 75,000 to do all the things they want to do. One of the things I found out that they're looking at doing is adding a new soccer field at Independence at Mather. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but that's something that they're talking about. And also talking about, there was an issue about, they think the grass at Stone Creek could be better cut. So that was their comment. And let's see what else we got. September. Yeah, I mean, if you go to Larchmont Community Park, you see their glass fields. That's totally different, but I guess there's always issues where the grass is a little tall and little kids and they have the cleats and they trip more on the higher grass. The balls don't go as fast, no roll. My chicken goes into the ball. These are things that I'm sure can be fixed easily. September 16th, I went to Meet the Machines, which was a fun event. It was probably, I've been to most of them, and I'm thinking this was one of the most highly attended events we've had in a while. There were hundreds of people there and they were having a great time. And I tell you that those beach balls and that blower is just off the charts fun for these kids. I mean, just having one in my backyard, you know. But that was nice. It's a nice event, and I hope you guys get a chance to get out there from next year. I think we usually have it in September. I'm thinking, and I think I'm done.
See? Well done. Thank you. All right. All right. So let's see here. Let me scroll up to me. On August 22nd, myself and many staff members went to the County Board of Supervisors meeting where they nicely provided us with the resolution for our 65th anniversary. Supervisors Desmond and Hume said some very nice things. Nice little group picture. So it was really nice to go there and have them recognize us. And let's see, I as well attended the chamber event on the 31st at the Stardust Emporium. Yes, it is. I will agree. It's a very interesting place. You should check it out. It's like going back into your grandparents' house and going, we had that or she had that. So it was very nice. Very nice. Didn't know it was as big as it is. I just assumed to be some little small place. It's huge. So. And then let's see here. I also attended the gala on September 8th. It was very nice. It was a little warm, but it was wonderful to see all the folks who attended. You know, we had folks, giving us resolutions and proclamations, which is always nice, and saying very nice things about us. It was very nice to see former district administrator Neil Orchard and his wife, Rosalie. Guy Anderson and his wife Karen were out there. You know, he's what was he, 24 years? 24 years on the board. And I tell you, that guy cannot stop talking about how much he likes that pool complex. He thinks it's great, just loves it. And then when the kids started playing in the little kid area, he was just like, oh, that's so great. I'm glad you guys did that. So it was very complimentary. Everything's going great. We're doing a great job. So that was very nice to hear from him. It was nice to see Lee Garrison out there with Linda Budge. They're both former board members. Kurt Haven was there, and as well as Terry Leinbach and her husband Richard. So it was really nice to see those folks. It was nice to see just the bevy of people that were out there, and how much so many people complimented on the pool and how things. I mean, Hagen looks great. I mean, the entryway and all that looks phenomenal. Guy Anderson was telling me a very interesting story. This district was apparently very progressive back in the day because they were holding classes to teach kids how to play Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. And apparently every religious organization in town didn't like that. And he said that was one of the most interesting, contentious times on the board he ever had. So let's bring it back. But yeah, so
He shared that.
oh, did he? Yeah. So, but talking to Neil, I mean, I was asking him questions about stuff, and that man's like an encyclopedia. I mean, he right off the bat, this is what did that, this, that. It was amazing. So, it was a very nice event. Nice seeing people from the past and present and all that. And then I also, even though I didn't put it on here, I also attended Meet the Machines. Yes, it was great to see the attendance way up this year. I think the move to the fall was helpful. The weather was gorgeous. The park looked great. It was nice to see, so many vendors out there, different organizations out there. PD, CHP, all those guys were out there. The kids, you're right about the I don't know if that's a leaf blower or whatever it is they're using to blow those beach balls up into the air. But that was just the kids that they probably could have done that all day. So I did see a couple posts online where people were bummed out because they didn't realize or forgot about it, and their kids are just into anything like that. So I mean, the lines to get to everything, the fire department fire engine was probably 20 yards long. Same with the little play area. So heck, even to get onto the regional transit bus and the school bus, there were lines to get onto those. So that's why I told them all to go. So got a very nice picture with me with the bus too. So thank you, Jeff. All right. Well, that is all I have. So I guess.
Can I ask a question? What is that blowing thing for?
Beach balls.
blow the leaves up in the air?
Well, no, you redirect it.
Oh, you put a bag on it?
Yes.
Oh, it's a giant.
It's a
blower.
massive leaf blower. Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't shoot up all the time. Oh, cool.
You can Google it. There's all kinds of fascinating videos about people doing that. Blowing leaves. Blowing leaves. I don't know. I said Google it. Just Google it. So, all right, we're going to move on to the next item. Comments by staff on non-agenda items.
Thank you. Item I1 is the district-wide monthly progress report for September, and I'll turn it over to General Manager Larkin.
Thanks, Clerk Jones. All right, everyone can hear me pretty good? All right, we're ready for some song? No. All right, so the optimized plan draft is being reviewed by staff. We're in chapter 3. It's going well. We're anticipating an arrival date in completion and to the board in January 2024. So we're working hard to make sure that content is accurate and will reflect our optimized plan goals and direction. So I'm excited about that. I too attended the CSDA annual conference. I especially enjoyed 2 sessions. First was practicing emotional intelligence, because I'm all about that this year, as my staff know. And also a session on embracing diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, which was an interesting concept as a cultural norm. So I'm going to look to incorporate some of those things as we develop that project as well. I also want to thank Mark and Rick and Danielle for getting our boardroom ready for this evening for the first meeting. The IT and the work gone into this to make this go off without a hitch. I really appreciate all your help in doing that. It looks pretty good. So I was excited to host the 65th anniversary celebration at Cordova Community Pool. We received recognition from Sacramento County, Congressman Ami Vera, Senator Roger Nilo, Assemblyman Josh Hoover, and the City of Rancho Cordova and the Chamber. Thank you for the amazing staff that set that amazing event up. It was a team effort, but I was just blown away at how it looked. The most important part of it for me was really seeing those families come in as we were exiting more of the formal presentation, because to me, that's what it's all about, is that we're here for the residents. So thank you for that amazing event. I thought it was excellent. So thank you. I enjoyed going to the first annual doggy day at the pool at Lincoln Village Community Pool with my dog. And they had a lot of dogs out there. It was the first time we offered this program. I'm excited to see it grow. There were several dogs out there. Everyone got along pretty well. And the maintenance guys, I'm sure, were cursing all the dog hair and the filters the next day, but it was really a great event. And I appreciate the entrepreneurial spirit in getting that off the ground and going. So we also had a couple of our board members here are going to come up with a special district leadership academy. Danny and Mark will be going to Santa Rosa in the next month to receive that training. So we're excited about that. Director Yearwood, you'll have your AB 1234 ethics training coming up and due by November 28th. We worked with the communications and marketing staff to get your business cards with our new address. So some of you got the Popple cards, which are the electronic business cards, and some of you have traditional business cards, but also have a QR code on those. So thank you, Shelby, for bringing us into the 2023 era. So appreciate that. We will be starting field work for our auditors beginning in October. We are going to launch that. It's a multi-month process with the hopes that we will have the full audit for last fiscal year brought to the board for approval in February 2024. The months of September and October, the financial reports will both be available in the month of November. Because Matt is gallivanting around in Europe this month. So I hope he's enjoying his time there. We also have a October 17th date for our annual employee recognition event at Hagen Pavilion at Hagen Community Park. We have 6 employees that are going to be receiving a 5-year of service award. We have 1 employee with a 10 years of service, 1 employee with 15 years of service, and 1 with 20 years of service. So loving that longevity. The longer we stay, the better we are, right? We are also in park planning and development, really going through the roof with all of our planning developments at different phases. To note, we are off with Arista del Sol. We've reviewed and provided comment letters for the second submittal of their final maps for phase 2 of the Arista del Sol. Rio del Oro, staff reviewed and commented on tentative subdivision maps for parcel 78, which is phase 2 of Rio del Oro. Some of our grant projects, we have started construction for the Rosemont Community Park Sports Courts in July of 2023. And construction, we're hoping to wrap up by the end of the year, weather permitted. We're excited about that. And it will be also modified for the celebration, Rosemont Community Celebration. Construction will be pulled back into the area, so it won't impact that event. The community park, also at Rosemont Community Park, they're getting a lot of love out there. We received a grant of $93,564 to do a miners field outfield fence replacement for their Little League Park out there. And then also in that same area, we received an SHRA CDBG grant administered by the county for $61,000 for Henley Park accessible parkway pathways, accessible pathways. So a lot going on. The Larchmont tennis courts have now been completed, and it's under a 1-year warranty period after those fixes were made. So we're grateful and thankful that the contractor came back out, fixed the problems, and we have a 1-year warranty to ensure that it's going to maintain and sustain its integrity, and we don't get too much or any issues going forward with that. Exploration Park has broke ground and they're rough grading at this time. The park construction is anticipated to be completed in the spring of 2024. Pending weather, of course, we're anticipating possibly a wet winter, so that might delay any construction during that time. Hummingbird Park, we're really excited. We're coming down to the wire here. On completion, a few items remain and the park will need to go through a maintenance period before we accept it. The park acceptance is anticipated to be brought to the board in late fall. Cal-Am is a water well proposal that came to the board maybe 2 months ago. They did their community outreach meetings. They had 2 of them. Staff attended to observe the community outreach so that they could in essence, validate the concerns, if any, from the neighbors that attended. They hosted 2 of them, as I mentioned. They had a pretty good attendance, and Cal-Am will be coming back to the board, I believe, in October to ask for approval for their project and also give us an update on the community outreach that was required for that project. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our amazing Jill Nuns, our Director of Parks and Recreation.
Well, thank you. I do want to thank everyone who attended the 65th anniversary gala. It really was a very special day for the district. I want to thank the 3 people that really put in a lot of work, which was Nicole Lowry, which is one of our recreation supervisor 2s, Heather Sheltsky, another recreation supervisor 2, and Shelby Golden. So we should give those guys a round of applause. It was a lot of work, but I really appreciate the time that they put in. And I also want to thank the organizations that donated to this event. So the wine was donated by Bristol Hospice of Sacramento, and the beer was donated by Beach Hut Deli at Cordova Golf Course and Dust Ball Brewing Company. So we appreciate them and the efforts that they put in to make this event a wonderful event as well. So thank you to them. And we look forward to our 70th anniversary just coming around the corner. Heather is like no more anniversaries, but she's already gone through a bunch, but we're really excited to be able to offer that to our community. And we're excited that we get to show off the Cordova Community Pool each and every year because it is really a special place. So thank you for that. On September 9th, like Patrick had mentioned, we had the Doggy Day in the pool at Lincoln Village, and it was a huge success. We can't wait to build upon that in the next few years and continue to make that event grow. It's a fun event. We do have another Doggy Day in the park on Saturday. I'll mention that and go over that in a little bit. Over at the Cordova Golf Course, August 2023 was another successful month. We saw the return of our girls' high school golf with Capital Christian School, Rosemont High School, and Folsom High School JV, all returning to their home course. And then we hosted another UCP adaptive golf clinic on August 3rd. So that's fantastic. Excited to see the golf course doing well. Also, revenue is up, which is a bonus as well. And then on August 31st, finally, the lights are back on at the Cordova Golf Course for our driving range. This has been something in the works for a long, long time. So we're really excited about that. Right now, we're running the lights on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. And then, once the fall hits, we'll probably back off some of the time. And then when the spring comes back, we'll see if we want to open up some additional nights than just those three. So super excited. Kudos to Gary Atchison and his staff, for working with the contractor to get that going. And thank you to Daryl and his staff for changing their hours of operation. And hopefully we can continue to, build up a good clientele to come out to the golf course at night and hit some balls on the driving range, as well as Beach Hut Deli can get some extra people in there to enjoy their food and beverage. Recreation is busy as always. We're starting our junior NBA. A new season of the youth basketball has officially kicked off with our fall winter season of junior NBA. This season, we have 85 young athletes participating with school ages ranging from kindergarten to fifth grade. We have 2 divisions, and we're super excited and thankful for all of our volunteer coaches and 8 teams that are participating in this league. The other thing that started back up this month was the Hideout, since school's back in session. So the Hideout Teen Center and after school program is back up and running. We have 23 currently involved. Our focus this year is to continue building on our strong foundation to offer an even greater variety of activities and opportunities for our teens. They did a great job last year, so we're excited to see what they build on for this year. And then the Hagen Community Barn got a little love. Actually, a lot of love. It was time for a really good cleanup. So the staff worked really hard to clean up the barn and get it nice and neat and orderly for not only the amazing animals that are there, but also for the people who visit. So thanks to that staff for getting that done. Over at the athletic field and facility rentals department, like what has been mentioned, the Rancho Cordova Soccer Club kicked off their fall with their opening day jamboree at Stone Creek Community Park. They utilize about 11 parks throughout the district, which is really great. And like Secretary Sloan had mentioned, we did allow them to move over one of their fields, actually add a field. It's not even moving. They're adding a field over at Independence. So that's what you're referencing. So they're getting, bigger in numbers. And so we're going to help them out a little bit over at Independence and give them another field. So that's exciting. We also this season, helped out the Rosemont Soccer Club, who usually typically plays at Sac City, Unified School District, but unfortunately due to, construction and maintenance, they needed to move. So we were able to accommodate them at Rosemont Community Park as well as Lincoln Village Community Park for this fall. And we'll see if that's something that they want to continue in the future. So really great group of people to work with. So easy peasy. So we're glad we're able to do that. And then we had an ultimate Frisbee tournament at the Mather Sports Complex, which is pretty cool. So a little variety of everything in athletic field and facility rentals. Aquatics is kind of, I guess, closing up for the season, but we had another wonderful summer of swim lessons. We concluded with 3,266 swimmers instructed at both the Cordova Community Pool and the Lincoln Village Community Pool. That's a lot of swimmers, a lot of people, learning how to swim, which we all know how important it is for anyone, whether you're a child or an adult, to learn how to swim. So super proud of that staff, super proud that we once again were able to get through a summer. We had enough lifeguards, we had enough pool managers, and we did not have to modify our hours. So, wow, that's quite the accomplishment. So don't forget the Cordova Community Pool is still open through September. So if you still want to get a swim in over the weekends, you can certainly go to the Cordova Community Pool. Over at the Senior Center, everything's running perfect as usual, but we're excited that for the first time ever on August 17th, our Get Up and Go trips were so popular and are becoming so popular that we had to have 3 buses to take a tour. And it was a day in the Bay. So thanks to Heather and her staff for continuing that wonderful program, that we also invite other agencies like Orangevale, Fair Oaks, and Sunrise to be a part of. It's great to see that people are getting out and able to take those trips. It's wonderful. In parks, they are just doing an amazing job as always. They, like I said, had already mentioned, helped out with the driving range lights. They're just like a jack of all trades. So I want to thank the parks crew for always helping out, not only within our parks, but other facilities as well. And then your special invite page for the board of directors. We've already done Meet the Machines and National Cheeseburger Day. So if you haven't had a cheeseburger today, you might want to pick one up on the way home. Doggy Day in the Park is this Saturday at Hagen Community Park by the dog park. It's from 8:30 to 10:30. Then we know about the Rosemont Community Celebration, which is Saturday, September 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have the Brecca Potluck, which is at Riviera East Park on Sunday, October 1st from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Then we have the Halloween at Hagen's coming up. Chair Yearwood, are we going to do another trunk or treat?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I need to talk to our newest board
Okay,
members.
we'll get you the paperwork, but that's going to be Saturday, October 28th from 3 to 6 p.m. And the one thing that was not included in your board packet that we received after the board packet was submitted was there's a family fall fest on Sunday, October 1st. It's from 12 to 4 p.m. It's free entry. It's at Sterling Park Drive and Beaudry Drive. That's my New York. Yeah. Beaudry Drive. And so if you are interested, looks like there's going to be live music, educational speakers, nature walks, local history, arts and crafts, live animal show, food and drink. And then we also are going to have a booth there from CRPD. And with that, that concludes my report. It is Sunday, October 1st. Great, thank
Jill, I
you.
wanted to say, since you are the athletic programs guru in the world, the up and coming sport, it's been on TV now, the Friday night football and Friday night we have girls flag football.
So we did actually, So we did actually offer a girls flag football league for this fall. So we'll see if it gets any traction, if we're able to do that or not. But we have noticed that. And so we did offer it. If you look at the recreation guide, there actually is a girls division that has been offered through CRPD.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
And one game that they have 10, they beat Pulse.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, we hope it gets traction as well. So fingers crossed that it does. Thank you.
All right. Excellent. We move on to J, informational items.
Item 1 is articles, correspondence, and public outreach. We had 2 articles. We had 1 letter from Visit Ranger Cordova. I submitted the ballot vote for LAFCO for Special District Commissioner for Vice Chair Danzel. There's the new recreation guide. And then 3 letters, and item J2 is your calendar.
All right. Looks like we're ready to move on to item K, closed session.
Thank you. Before I read the item for closed session, I'll just explain to the folks on the Zoom call that we typically end the Zoom meeting for all and then go to closed session and restart the Zoom meeting after we come back from closed session. So that we have 1 item. Item 1 is a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9, Cordova Recreation and Park District versus the City of Rancho Cordova, Sacramento Superior Court case number 34-2021-80003705.
Why, thank you, Clerk Jones. All right, we recessed to closed session at 7:47. All right, reconvening from closed session at 9:07. There's no reportable actions on item K1. So looks like we're going to adjourn this meeting till our next regular meeting, which is Wednesday, October 18th, 2023 at 6:30 PM. And we're going to adjourn at 9:08.